put almond milk in it. It was the grossest thing I've ever had. It ruined the mac and cheese for me. I hated it. I was like, why? I hate it. Why does it taste sweet and like almonds?
We are starting with some hot takes today. So should we begin?
I guess we need to begin because now we're just talking about milk.
Oh, everybody out there! I'm Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is Shelf Life, a podcast that normally would be bringing you a brother and sister team that go through all things pop culture in a very, very minute and detailed manner, be that page by page or scene by scene, to determine whether or not the subject at hand belongs on your shelf. But today, we are doing something different because right around the corner is everyone's favorite time of year for things where we pretend like we know amateur sports and think we can figure out who's going to win the national championship. But that sweet, sweet algorithm, we hope, will lift this SEO-type product up to the top of your podcast charts because we are doing something a little bit different. We're doing
a different shelf.
A different kind
room.
Of shelf. Yes.
Yes.
So, Rachel, do you want to tell everyone what we're doing first, and then I'll explain why we're doing it, or what we're doing?
We are doing the Shelf Life Food Madness Cereal Edition.
I actually came up with a terrible name for it that you'll probably really like, and I haven't said it out loud. Munch Madness.
Munch Madness. No, I love that. All right, let me start over. I'm keeping it all in. Shelf Life Munch Madness.
Yes.
Breakfast cereal edition.
Yes, the first annual Shelf Life Munch Madness.
I like it.
So, when we've told people that we have a podcast called Shelf Life, sometimes they think we're talking about food.
Which, that's fine.
I mean, we could do a podcast about food, and that's what we're doing today. So we decided that Rachel and I both kind of said, like, hey, as we do Shelf Life, as we have our volumes, maybe we could do like little bonus things or annual traditions set around different times of year. And we thought, well, we could do a tournament-style show for March. Can I say March Madness? Is it copyright? I'll say March Madness anyway. For the NCAA March Madness tournament, instead of making it something where it's like, we're going to do all the Marvel movies, we're going to do a tournament of those, which maybe one day we'll do.
We will, yeah. But not now. This is food. This is munching.
But instead of doing that, we're going to do food. So we're going to do different types of food. I'm sure you can give recommendations about different types of food or different things we could do. I mean, we've got our ideas.
Yeah, don't worry, we do have a list of food. Yes. We do have a list for
separate
food,
list.
I should say.
Yes. Exactly. And we thought, well, we started with Jerry Seinfeld in season 1 of Shelf Life. We want to start off with something that can be, there's a lot of different types. There's a lot of different brands. There's a lot of different things that we could do with it, and cereal seems to hit the best. So we're going to do Shelf Life's Munch Madness Cereal Edition. We have 24. That's right, folks. 24 cereals that we are going to have duke it out in the Madness Tournament bracket, which you can also find on our website. I'm sure by now our website is up. So the bracket will be out there. How we're going to do this is Rachel and I have both filled out our brackets separately. We have decided what we think should win each battle of the cereals and who will win the ultimate tournament. But Rachel and I will need to come to a consensus on each matchup to determine who moves on to the next round and who ultimately will be crowned the Shelf Life cereal champion.
This is very exciting, actually. I'm very excited now.
I hope you are.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
This is very important.
Champion.
This is very important.
Oof. Okay.
Now, if the show grows and there's a lot of you out there, our lifers, and it becomes bigger, we probably could post what the brackets will be even further in advance, and maybe we'll do something where, like, if Rachel and I cannot come to a consensus, we will, whatever the audience pick is, would be the tiebreaker or something like that. So, different possibilities out there. I think what we'll do is we'll just get right into it here. We have 24 cereals, which means that 8 cereals get buys into the second round. The rest of the cereals need to compete in the first round to make it into the second round. We have 4 different regions. I have not named them, but I'm going to try to name them right now. They are the... let's see, what can we call them? There's the frosted region. There's
the frosted, the fruity, the
frosted,
crunchy.
the fruity. Yes, I like that. The crunchy, for sure.
And the healthy?
And the healthy?
No, I don't like it. Frunchy.
Frunchy, crunchy, da 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 da. You gotta try that again? Want another take? Rachel left the room. She's done.
I'm done.
Marshmallowy.
I feel like this is necessary. We need to come up with a good one.
Rachel's like, nope, you know what? Pause everything. Stop everything.
The flakes, the rounds, the puffs, the granola, and the cooked. So, like, those are cereal types.
The rounds? So the rounds does count?
I think the rounds would be okay, because that counts as Alphabets, Cheerios, Oats, Toasty Oats, and Toasted Oats.
Yeah, and the Cheerio, yes, okay, that's the rounds.
See,
so Rachel,
the rounds.
what are the four regions we have now? Which ones do we have?
Regions. So for the regions we have the rounds, the frosted, the crunchy, and the fruity.
Yes. And they don't all have to actually fit that description, but we have to term everything because we're being overly cutesy with this episode, as we are with everything else on this podcast.
That's the point.
Let us begin round 1 of the first annual Munch Madness tournament. Rachel, what do you have a region that you'd like to start in? We can start in any of the regions. I'll let you pick.
Let's go crunchy.
Okay, we are going to the crunchy region. Okay, so the first matchup we've got is honeycombs versus life cereal. Now, I think what we'll do is we'll just alternate. So whoever goes first in this one, the next one, the next person will go first, etc. So do you want to go first this time, Rachel, or should I?
I can go first. This is an easy one for me.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Honeycombs.
Okay. You
that
have to
moves
defend
on for me.
You got to defend it. Defend it.
Defend it. Hold on, I got to look at it.
Rachel has she has a
box.
Well,
I have a pyramid.
She made a pyramid full of cereals for today.
They're like the mini cereal boxes, not the big ones, okay? Calm down.
She bought one giant size Life box, though.
I love life. No.
In more ways than one. That's terrible.
Anyways, we're cutting that. Anyways. So I choose honeycombs versus life. Life is like that Chex cereal. I feel like, and honeycombs is a bit more like puffy and crunchy and like solid. So on the crunchy scale, I feel like honeycombs comes out on the top there. I also think that honeycombs works better in milk than life does as well.
Okay. Those are good reasons. We can decide on what cereal we want to move on for any reason. It does not have to be specifically some sort of criteria that we're both using. It's whatever we think is the better cereal. What did you say, Rach?
I did kind of, when I was doing my bracket, I did kind of give myself some criteria.
Okay.
That I thought was necessary for it to be good cereal.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I guess we don't have to belabor the point here. I agree with you. I think Life cereal might be healthier for you, maybe. Don't know. But
they all say they're healthy in one way or the other.
I saw a thing that it's the tide's turning again on cereal, where it's actually more health. Like they're if they get rid of the preservatives and it's not as sugary, it's not actually that bad of a breakfast.
Right. It's not. It's just pretty much like crunching on some granola or some grains, swimming in milk. That's literally all you're doing.
But
a lot of people don't even drink the milk anymore, so it's like.
Yeah, I guess some people don't. But
depends on the milk you're using.
My name is not Mikey. I don't like it. I don't like Life. I think it is too...
blah.
Yeah, it's a little too blah. I think it works fine in the milk, actually, to be honest with you. I think you can put...
Oh, okay.
But it just doesn't do it for me over honeycombs, which neither one of these am I exactly going out to get. But I think honeycombs does have a better taste. Sweetened corn and oat. That's what Honeycomb's cereal is. And of course, in the shape of the honeycomb.
Which is adorable, of course.
So Honeycomb's big. Yeah. It moves on in the tournament. I guess we could reveal who who it will face off with in the second round, because all of these face off against somebody that got a bye in the second round. Honeycombs wins, and it will take on Honey Bunches of Oats in the second round. So the Battle of the Honeys in the second round. I like it. One other thing that we should probably point out is, in most cases, there's one case where we did take an alternative to the main brand because both of them are considered the most popular cereals. That's how we kind of came up with the criteria, too, for what cereals got to be in this tournament. We based it off of our own personal taste, popularity, particularly within the United States, because cereal is a very American thing, and just in general, what people kind of think of the cereals, their classicness, their nostalgia factor, all that stuff. So that's how we kind of came up with it. But we did not, except for in one case, choose alternatives to the brands. So if you, for instance, we'll get to it later where Fruity Pebbles is in this bracket.
Right.
Cocoa Pebbles, not in this bracket.
That's right.
We had to choose one to represent for them in the alternatives. But we could probably take a few minutes to talk about the alternatives later on in the tournament. So let's get to the other matchup in the crunchy region, and it is Count Chocula versus Captain Crunch. It's a good matchup.
It is.
I'll go first this time, and I'm going to get this one out of the way pretty easily, too. I think that Captain Crunch has a good sweet taste to it. It's an unusual shape. It looks like a pillow, but I have never really had a problem with that at all. I will say, when it sits in the milk, if you don't eat it in the right designated amount of time, it can get a little soggy. That is a problem. But overall, I do think it has a good, sweet taste to it. It gets the job done, for sure. I think Captain Crunch is good. An excellent mascot. Captain Crunch himself.
Of course, yes.
A wonderful, wonderful mascot. Actually, this is a good matchup of mascots, because we have two classic mascots here. So that's Captain Crunch. Count Chocula, great mascot as well. The vampire out to get your cereal.
Right.
Seasonal.
Chocolate cereal, obviously.
Was developed in 1971, is seasonal. I can't imagine what season that it comes out in. It's got... let me describe Count Chocula to the folks at home.
I like
that don't
how you have
understand
to describe this. You didn't describe the other ones, but you're like, wait a minute, let me give you all of the history and background on Count Chocula.
I've got it in front of me. I wrote down
But you don't
notes.
have it for everything else?
I've got it on some of them.
You didn't say anything about life for Honeycombs.
Honeycomb moved on. We'll get something for Honeycomb later on.
Okay.
So it's chocolate. Like chocolate, not letters, just chocolate shapes. I don't really know how to describe it.
I think, well, they're not even bats. They kind of look, honestly, like Pac-Man. Like the ghosts from Pac-Man.
They do. I think that's what it is supposed to be.
So I think they're just ghosts.
Because I think you're right. I think it is supposed to be like that ghost shape. So you have the ghost shape, and then you have marshmallows in it that are bats. The marshmallows are bats.
Right. Yes.
So I'm going to be pretty frank here. I don't like chocolate as a breakfast.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's too flavorful on the palate to be a breakfast.
Interesting.
So I don't have anything necessarily against Count Chocula, but it definitely is not for me. So I have Captain Crunch moving on to round 2.
Okay. It's not so much the chocolate aspect. I'm okay with chocolate, but you always have to get that ratio right when it comes to cereal and marshmallows. If you're going to put marshmallows into your cereal, and that can be difficult.
Very
sometimes.
difficult.
So I feel like I have to give Captain Crunch the win also. So
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you. So I'm saying yes, we're gonna move Captain Crunch on, just because it's more consistent.
Okay, more consistent. All right,
The
excellent.
consistency.
Consistency.
See, I thought about this.
Taste.
I thought about this a lot when I put my bracket together.
So Captain Crunch moves on. In the second round, Captain Crunch will take on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The Battle of the Crunches. Round 2. That's a main event anywhere on the planet.
The Battle of the Crunches.
Should we stick on this side of the bracket and do the fruity?
Yeah, we can do that one.
All right, so Rachel, we'll start off with you here. This is Trix versus Rice Krispies. Hell of a matchup. Trix versus Rice Krispies. What do you got?
So this is the plain Rice Krispies. Let's make sure
this
we
is just regular
let
Rice
them know
Krispies.
this is just regular Rice Krispies, which is the snap, crackle, pop. Great sound, by the way. It actually does have that sound while it's sitting in the milk. However,
yes, it's great sound.
It's a great sound. It's rice. It's small, right, and grainy. I have to give Trix the win for this one, because I prefer a taste, like an actual, like, something to it. I feel like a lot of the times with Rice Krispies, people will add sugar on top. And I've seen this before with people in the family and even outside of the family. They'll put sugar on it because it's just not enough. Mm-hmm. So I have to give Trix the win for having flavor, for having a nice crunch, and even, like, the different shapes.
This is an example to me. So Rice Krispies is a classic, of course. It is nearly 100 years old that we've had Rice Krispies. Here's my problem. Because, yeah, great. Snap, Crackle, Pop versus the Trix Rabbit. I might go Snap, Crackle, Pop if we were just doing
honestly,
mascots.
if we're doing mascots, if we did a mascots bracket, this might go out a little bit differently.
Yeah, I like the Trix Rabbit just fine. But come on, Trix Rabbit.
Especially because the kids are mean to him.
The kids are very mean to him.
It's rude.
It's just cereal, kids. The rabbit can eat it if he wants to.
It.
Yeah, everyone should be able to eat this cereal. It's not some exclusive humans only.
That's right.
It's very mean.
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, the hell is that? I think that, and this kind of might go for a couple of the cereals that we have on this list. Rice Krispies is better as the bar to be eaten as a dessert than it is the cereal. You're absolutely right. It's too plain as a cereal by itself. Even with the Snap, Crackle, Pop sound, it is not enough to beat the fruitiness of Trix, which you actually get a good, like, fruity taste that is different than the other fruit. In my opinion, it is hard pieces compared to the other fruits. Harder pieces, I would say, compared to the other fruits, but they all have different shapes. Like, there's that like banana looking thing, and then the lemon and the orange. Isn't there like a blueberry that's like it's like a flower or something like that? Or is that only in the new ones? You might have to get like a special one for that. But they all have different colors. It's very bright and fun.
I mean, I think it depends. So I think the old Trix used to just be the balls of color. And then now it has, like, actual different shapes. So it has, like, the grape shape, and it has, like, the flower one you're talking about, and, like, the one that looks like a watermelon.
Yeah. Okay,
so I think it's kind of fun that
that's what that one is. Okay.
Yeah, so I think they kind of, like, changed it in a cute way to make them, like, more fun and bright and colorful. Now, is that good for you? No. But it's delicious. Now, here's my other take. If Cocoa Krispies was up,
okay,
I might have had a different opinion. Okay. I think I prefer Cocoa Krispies than the Rice Krispies. I'll eat Rice Krispies, but I think I prefer the Cocoa Krispies because it's sweeter.
Interesting. For me, it would be the chocolate thing again. So
I know you don't like chocolate.
I just don't like chocolate. Not for breakfast. I had recently hot cocoa pancakes, and it was just too much. It was like eating a piece of chocolate cake. Okay, so Trix, we're in consensus. Trix moves on.
Trix moves on.
Trix moves on to round 2, where it will face the big monster, Cheerios.
That's right.
Cheerios versus Trix round 2, folks. Get your bracket ready. Put your bets in on that one. The second matchup of the fruity region, Corn Pops versus Fruity Pebbles. Corn Pops, Fruity Pebbles. So both of these cereals have the same flaw to me.
Yes, they do.
And anyone out there that has eaten Corn Pops or Fruity Pebbles, I would assume this is a universal experience with this cereal. both cereals. They have a very, I was going to say a shelf life, but I guess it's kind of true. You have a limited shelf life on when you could, by the second that you pour that milk into the bowl, you better
has to like immediately go into your mouth.
You have to eat it immediately.
Immediately.
Otherwise, the milk will take over the cereal.
It really
and not
does.
in like not in a good way. Like some of these have good combinations of when you're done with, like Trix, for example. Pretty good once you're done with the bowl of like once you've eaten the cereal, the leftover milk has kind of like a little like fruity taste to it.
Yeah, it's got like a fruity taste. It's like almost like a strawberry milk at the end right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corn Pops and Fruity Pebbles both get absorbed by the milk and become just mush. Like
they become mush, and like the milk then becomes like this gritty, like almost sandy type milk that's thick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like it. You're right. It absorbs the pieces and becomes one with the pieces.
Becomes one with the pieces. It does. Once that happens, once you hit the point in time where the milk has taken over, you can't eat it anymore. It's disgusting. I have wasted so much of both of these cereals in my life because I will have made the bowl. Maybe I go get dressed or something, and then it's done.
That's your problem. Is you always do this with food anyways. You don't leave cereal. You can't make cereal and then leave the room and come back later to eat it. That's not how cereal works. I find that very odd. And yes, you do that.
Whatever.
So of course you can't have the cereals that are like instant, must be like just devoured, because you would leave it there and then it just becomes like the soggiest mess.
Point taken. Point taken. But still, I do think both of these cereals are good if you can eat them at the right time. So that makes this one a little bit more difficult because
yes.
I like both of these cereals. I actually do. For me, it comes down to more flavor, I think. Yes. So I like Corn Pops on occasion. I think it has a good airy taste to it.
Yes, it's fluffy.
Fluffy, yes, that's a good way to say it. It's a good corn taste as well,
nice
sweet,
and light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I actually think that this is one of those cereals that you could eat you could just eat it out of the box. Like I think you could just eat it like a snack. Kind of.
I think it works because it has that issue with the milk, so you're just like, well, screw it, I'll just eat it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would just eat it out of the box. I kind of think it does need to have that milky...
The milk gives it more taste.
It needs to be paired. It needs to be paired with the milk. Yeah.
I agree. I actually agree.
It makes the flavors come out more somehow. I
can't explain it. It's science. Both went to that same thing. Interesting fact, the American version features an irregular, flattened, smooth, elliptical shape. The Canadian Corn Pops look different. They are uniformly spherical and have a porous surface like Kix, according to Wikipedia, which I know everyone loves when we quote from people on the internet that apparently are so into cereal that they put the Wikipedia page up.
For our Canadian listeners, I mean, is that true? Do you eat Corn Pops? Are they fluffier and rounder for you guys than like the flatter, airy that we get? Let us know.
This might be a thing because the Fruity Pebbles page says that the Canadian version was more pebble-shaped puffs for Fruity Pebbles. So maybe the Canadian and the American versions of different cereals are different. I don't know. So not to belabor my point here, the Fruity Pebbles, I like how they're just like crispy, like almost just kind of like layers, and you get a lot of layers of it when you like. It's very
it's
filled.
Flaky.
Yeah, it's flaky
and flavorful.
You get a lot of them when you get a scoop of the milk and cereal. A lot of times it's kind of like I'll be like, oh, I need a little bit more milk on there. I think Fruity Pebbles is designed so well
to hold on to it.
Yeah, like it has both the milk and the flakes. The flakes don't overpower and kick the milk off the spoon. So I think it's a good mixture. I am going to go with Fruity Pebbles.
Well, I feel like it's kind of obvious because I was agreeing with you and discussing it with you. I also want to go with Fruity Pebbles here for the flavor, for the way that it tastes, and like the consistency of the crunch and all of that. So I do eat both, but I think I would prefer Fruity Pebbles in this case.
Okay, so Fruity Pebbles. Mark that down, Rachel, in your bracket, and mark that down everywhere. Fruity Pebbles moves on to the second round where, yes, we kind of rigged the bracket a little bit to get this matchup. Fruity Pebbles, I mean, Corn Pops could have won for all we know, but Fruity Pebbles takes on Fruit Loops. The Battle of the Fruit.
That's right.
Get ready for it. Fucking awesome matchup that's going to be. All right, let's move on to the rounds region. We have the first matchup of the rounds region. It is Apple Jacks versus Golden Grams. Rachel, over to you. Who you got? She's thinking about this one.
Okay.
Okay, here she goes. She's got it.
So, for this one, okay, I had to go with Apple Jacks. Now, Apple Jacks is not as fruity, thus it's not really in the fruity region currently, but it does have flavor to it.
This is also, we should point out, this is regular Apple Jacks, not your cinnamon jacks or the other kind of jacks that they have out there.
I mean, technically, Apple Jacks has cinnamon in it anyways.
It kind of does. It does have that little bit of flavor.
I think they put that little spice into it to give it a little bit of a difference. So it kind of does have that, which is something I like. And that's actually kind of a part of the reason why I chose Apple Jacks. For me, Golden Grams, it's that square that has like just a little bit of flavor to it. You know, it's more of a flake. I feel like Apple Jacks has to move on in this round for me.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Apple Jacks. I think it's an underrated cereal. It has, like you said, it's got that cinnamon taste to it. I like the shape. I like a good round cereal. Right. I think it works well with the milk. I think it...
Yes.
And the one thing that I like about the Apple Jacks, too, is those little bumps it has on it.
So I like the flavored nodules on the on the round cereal. I'm just gonna call them that because I don't know what they are. I think that is literally the cinnamon.
It surrounds the flake, prevents the milk from penetrating it.
That's right. Clark W. Griswold created that for Apple Jacks.
That's right.
As far as you know.
As far as I know. I think Golden Grams has a place. Obviously, it's in this tournament. The shape, the look, even the taste. So I think it's an inferior version of another cereal in this bracket.
Okay.
And I like Apple Jacks, so I'm gonna go with Apple Jacks.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like Golden Grams. I like their Teddy Grams. I'm gonna give them a little like thumbs up. I like Teddy Grams.
Can you tell me what Teddy Grams is like? Because I don't know this one.
Well, they're like the little teddy bears that have like that bit of a honey taste to it. So it's not the square, but it's like the little teddy bears, and they're just like snacks. It's just the crunchy snack. It's like a cookie.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
I find that better than the cereal.
Okay.
Now, why couldn't they put like the teddy bears in the cereal?
Yeah, why not just make a Teddy Graham cereal? I guess you could just put them in milk and eat them.
This is true.
I mean, it's not like anybody... We're adults. We can do whatever we want.
That's right.
Nothing's stopping us.
But yeah, I like the little teddy bears better than their cereal.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know what you were referring to, but yeah, seeing the Teddy Grahams, I could eat a truckload of those shits. These things are great.
Apparently, they used to be $16. Now they're $4.
That's a
big difference.
You don't remember the Teddy Graham shortage of 2018? So like a prelude to COVID. Everyone was out there just stocking up on.
You gotta get your toilet paper, your Teddy Grahams, your milk, eggs.
I've got a whole case of them out in the garage just in case it ever happens again. All right, so Apple Jacks moves on. Apple Jacks will meet the number 1 seed because of the popularity of it, apparently, in the United States. The most popular cereal, Honey Nut Cheerios. So yes, Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios are in this because they're collectively like the number 1 and 2 most popular cereals. We let them both be in. Yeah.
It's fine.
Rachel was a little against it, but she allowed it.
I was a little against it, but we talked about it, and it's fine.
They're very different.
They are, and that's why we kind of came to that.
Yeah.
I was just It's like a
Yeah.
lot of Cheerios.
I was with you.
You
I
put
was
the frosted Cheerios in there too. I mean, there's a lot of different Cheerios.
There are a lot of different Cheerios, but these are the two that were selected
That's
to
right.
represent the brand. Okay, the second matchup here. Full disclosure, there was a substitute in this one because we found out that the cereal was discontinued in 2021 when we tried to put Alphabets in this bracket. I didn't know that Alphabets was discontinued, but you can't get Alphabets anymore. So, the matchup instead that we have is Cookie Crisp, because I can't say it any other way, against
How can't you say that way?
against Reese's Puffs.
This is a bad one for you.
You think so?
Well, because they're both chocolatey.
Mm.
We got the Cookie Crisp is literally tiny wafer cookies that look like chocolate chip cookies. And then you have Reese's Puffs, which is chocolate peanut butter puffs. How is this not a bad one for you? Because you're just like, chocolate. Like,
here's the difference for me.
Okay, go ahead. This is fine.
I think that Cookie Crisp is more on the chocolate end, and Reese's Puffs does a good job of balancing out the peanut butter and the chocolate. So
That's true.
I feel like it's a little bit more peanut butter than chocolate most of the time. Now, I do love the shape of Cookie Crisp. I love that they are little cookies, and they look like little chocolate chip cookies.
It's so cute.
It's great. That in itself, you gotta enjoy that.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things is that Cookies Crisp has gone through so many different mascots over the years.
Do you want to discuss some of them, Rachel?
I mean, we can.
I feel like we should.
We have the Wizard.
Cookie Jarvis was his name.
Jarvis the Wizard.
Yes.
And then we move on to, like, I don't know how many years. What does it say?
He was
20
introduced
years later?
in 77. So this is a relatively newer these are two relatively new serials. So 77 is when Cookie Jarvis came around.
Right.
And then in the 80s,
then we have the Cookie Crook.
Yes. The Cookie Crook.
The Cookie Crook, where there's like a thief and a cop, and always trying to steal the. Yep.
Officer Crumb is his name.
Is that the name? That's really cute. I'm sorry, but that's cute.
Did they have a cartoon? I feel like there's a cartoon. The Cookie Crisp Fun Happy Hour.
Probably
or
just
something.
probably for the commercials. It's just like a mini cartoon. I bet.
I feel like the 80s were nothing but, mascots and shit. If there isn't, there was a missed opportunity to have a cartoon for all of these cereal mascots at some point.
Okay, maybe we'll have to get to it. Now, it's not on brand, and they wanted them to be on brand, but we might have to watch.
No, I don't know if I can. I know what you're going to say.
We're going to watch it. We'll have to maybe look into Food Fight, because that's kind of what they were going for. Was getting all of the mascots together. Now, they couldn't.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what that was going for.
Yeah. And it's notoriously one of the worst things ever produced. Rachel's excited about it.
No, that's the dance.
I've never...
There's the bat does this weird
Have you watched it?
I may have watched some of it. I don't know if I've watched all of it, but I've watched some of it before.
There's two more mascots that Cookie Crisp had.
Oh, yes. Then we have Chip the dog.
That's the one I remember. That's the one I remember.
Yes, I remember Chip the dog as well, because it's Cookie Crisp, and he's howling.
Yeah.
And then after that, they switched to a wolf.
And I think the wolf still stands, but I do not remember the wolf.
Oh, it's just Chip the wolf? So they changed it from Chip the dog to Chip the wolf. I guess because it's the howl, but it could be a hound dog. Why can't it just be a hound dog?
Yeah, I agree.
So I just love the fact that they've gone through such a variety of mascots for theirs.
But that being said, for me, I think that Reese's Puffs, that combination of the peanut butter and the chocolate works better.
Oh, it's fantastic, yes.
It's a really good cereal. It's kind of underrated. I think it's actually one of the most popular cereals in the U.S., which, might be kind of surprising to some people because it's a Reese's peanut butter cup made into a cereal.
Right, but they're puffy. It's
well,
not like
all they are
super thick and like heavy cereal.
Yeah,
It's
they're
nice
just
and like
little round
puff
balls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they work really well with the milk.
Yeah.
I think you can let those sit in milk, and the non-nutritive cereal varnish, like they don't get soggy.
They don't get super soggy,
But
and then it makes the milk nice and like chocolatey. And
That's
it's
right.
so
You
good.
get a little peanut butter chocolate milk when you're done. So I respect the shape of the Cookie Crisp. I don't think it's terrible, but it is chocolatey for me. So I'm going with Reese's Puffs.
And I'm concurring. I also prefer Reese's Puffs. As much as I like Cookie Crisps, I don't want to just eat a cookie for breakfast. So, which is, to me, it's just a bowl of cookies. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to say I'm out of that one. But I'll go to Reese's Puffs for this.
Okay. So Reese's Puffs moves on to round 2 to take on Lucky Charms. Two very a contrast, a style of contrast.
That definitely is a contrast there, yes.
Speaking of styles of contrast, let's get to the Frosted region, and the first matchup in the Frosted region is Waffle Crisp versus Special K. Rachel, it's all on you.
Actually, the last one was supposed to be mine, but then you just kind of went off on a tangent.
Whatever. It's fine.
So for this one, I couldn't help. I think I might have a bit of nostalgia, and I think I don't know why. I can smell, like, just even talking about Waffle Crisp, I can smell it, and I can taste it. It's got that mapley like syrup taste, and Special K is pretty much just a flake, and that's it. It's just a flake. And the Waffle Crisp actually is crispy. It's crunchy, it's crispy, and I think I'm going to have to just go straight for Waffle Crisp on this one.
Kind of a quick one for me as
nice
well.
And sweet.
Now, for all the adults out there that are listening and are like, but I eat Special K all the time. Yeah, you do, but you don't like it.
Do you like it?
You
probably get the fruity flavors. We're just talking about plain Special K.
Well, this goes back to the discussion about Rice Krispies. I think it's just cornflakes. Really, it's rice. It's toasted rice and flakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have enough taste to it. People put strawberries and shit in the cereal with it to give it some flavor. And
if I ever had Special K, it's gonna have fruit in it. Period. It has to.
It's marketed as a low-fat cereal. I don't really know if it is. I'm sure it's better for you than the rest of this is. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it actually, is going to win this bracket just because it might be the healthy one. I don't even know. We're not
going on healthy. I don't care about the healthiness. I'm talking about the flavor and if I like it.
So let's talk
if I happen to like the healthiest thing on the menu, so be it. But so far, I want Waffle Crisp.
Let's talk about Waffle Crisp for a second here. Waffle Crisp, probably one of the newer cereals, came out in 1996. And I have nostalgia for it too because I always wanted Mom to buy it, but it was never on sale, so it was very rare.
It was like a treat.
Yeah, it was like a treat. And the commercials had all these old ladies that were making the Waffle Crisp. If you remember that.
I do remember that.
It was discontinued in 2018, and then they brought it back in January of 2021, but it is only like sporadic. So it's like season, like you have to be like on the lookout, folks, to get Waffle Crisp. And Rachel's just describing it perfectly right. They're like these squares, these like little waffles.
They look like little waffles,
but they taste really syrupy. They taste like maple. It's a really
I like the maple
sweet
flavor.
Yeah, it's a really sweet flavor. So maybe an upset here for people that may not know about it, but of course when you're working with a brother and sister team, we grew up eating the same foods. So Waffle Crisp moves on to the second round over Special K. So we were gonna, if Special K would have won, we would have had a battle of the quote-unquote good for you sort of cereal. Instead, we got Waffle Crisp will be taking on Frosted Mini Wheats. Eat your Wheaties in the second round between these two. And the last matchup of the Frosted region, it is Boo Berry versus Raisin Bran. Rachel, I know I'm supposed to go first, but I will be completely honest with you. I couldn't pick. I could not figure out.
You couldn't pick?
I'm
Is
gonna
this because you don't like either? You like them both. Which way is this?
I'm agnostic to them.
Interesting. Okay.
So I kind of want to.
talk.
I want to see if you can sway me one way or the other.
Okay, so with this, Raisin Bran is fine. It's got a crunch to it. I always have to bring these up so I can like look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Their flakes, right, are thicker. They have thicker flakes than Special K, say, which makes them better in that sense. It's crunchier, it's thicker, it's got like that. It's got raisins in it, and raisins are not for everybody. A lot of people hate the raisins, and sometimes I do too. You have that good crunch, and then you have this soft raisin with it, okay? Which can be fine in some instances, and sometimes I'm like, I just don't want the raisin. Get the raisin out of my cereal. With Blueberry, right, you have... I feel like I have to look at it while I'm doing this. With Blueberry, it's very similar to the Count Chocula, right? It's got the flavorful bits that look like ghosts.
Yes.
Because, it's just
Instead
slap
of, yeah.
the look onto it.
Yeah.
But it has a berry flavor instead of chocolate. So it's berry flavored and has the marshmallow bits to it. Mm-hmm. For me, I think I'd rather have the flavoring over the actual raisin. And that's where I'm kind of going with this one. I do love the crunch of Raisin Bran's flakes.
Yeah.
But I like the flavor of Blueberry.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it comes down to, are you okay with the raisin in the cereal or not?
Right.
Now, as an adult, Raisin Bran, because of the fiber content, it makes you healthier, for sure. Raisin Bran is one of those where I feel like... something about Blueberry looks more unappealing to me.
It's very unnatural. It's very unnatural. There's nothing natural about that one.
I almost want to go with Raisin Bran. So
good, then go. Okay. Well, keep talking about it. Keep going.
We have to come up.
Because the thing is, I know. And here's the thing. I think you could easily sway me because Blueberry, it just has a good flavor, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not on board with like either one of these either, so we're probably kind of like in the same space, but if we kind of like talk it out, we can probably get somewhere. Mm-hmm. You're right, because Blueberry doesn't look natural and it doesn't really taste natural. It just tastes like fruit, and then it has the marshmallows.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to Raisin Bran and say I really like the crunch of the flake. It's thicker. I like the fact that it's like crunchy and it holds up in milk. Because it's not like the raisin's going to take on the milk and get soggier. Right. The raisin's just...
It's just there.
It's chewy.
It's an
there.
Extra chewiness, yeah.
And the flakes hold up really well.
If you let the raisin sit in the milk a little bit longer...
it makes it even better.
Yeah, I think that's... Because I get the consistency part of not wanting the raisin there, because I'm not a big fan of raisins either. But I think if you let it kind of soak a little bit and you have it be part of the flakes, I think you can get away with it.
You gotta have... It's the same idea with the Blueberry. You have to have... Actually, with the Blueberry, it's a little different because of the flavoring. You have to have that ratio of the cereal to the marshmallow. Same thing with the Raisin Bran. You have to have the cereal to the raisin ratio as well. You don't want just a bunch of raisins left in the bowl at the end. You want to make sure you're being consistent with like the spoonful. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you know what? I think we could go with Raisin Bran in this instant.
Okay. Like I said, I'm on the fence about it. Folks at home, let us know if we're right or wrong about this decision. We're going to go with...
I will say, I have Blueberry on my list.
You do?
On my tournament bracket, but I kind of like the idea of the Raisin Bran now that we've been talking about it. So you kind of like flipped me. Okay,
so we're going to move Raisin Bran on to the second round. Very close, though. What a game. What a close matchup that was. I'm sweating over here. I was on pins and needles trying to figure out who was going to win that one. But Raisin Bran moves on to the second round, where it gets to take on Frosted Flakes. We didn't rig it at all, folks. It wasn't rigged. It's fine.
It really wasn't, because like I said, I had Blueberry on mine, so it would have been Blueberry versus Frosted Flakes.
Which would have made no sense. It would have just been two random series. second round. So we've moved. We're on to the second round. We were on to the Sweet 16. Where should we start? Where do you want to start?
No, you get to choose because I chose last
Okay,
time.
let's just start at the top of the rounds bracket. Let's go back to the top of the rounds bracket.
Top of the rounds.
Top of the rounds to you. We are doing Honey Nut Cheerios versus Apple Jacks. It's a big one. It's the first. This one's tough. This one's actually kind of tough for me. For Honey Nut,
this one's hard for you.
This one is a little hard because I like Honey Nut Cheerios more than regular Cheerios.
Yes,
I'm being
agreed.
very transparent about that. I look at Honey Nut Cheerios and I think it has a good taste to it. That it's got a sweet taste to it. I think it holds up in milk very well. Cheerios designed to do that, I think. Apple Jacks, though, on the other hand, also has a similar taste. It's got that little bit of spice with the cinnamon. It's got a very similar shape to it as well.
The O.
Yes, both are O's. So I think in the end, I'm going to have to decide this very scientifically and go, one has a honeybee mascot that is beloved the world over, and I couldn't tell you at all who the Apple Jacks mascot is. And secondly...
Isn't it just an apple?
Is it? I don't know. I don't
thought it
know
was
if
an
I've
apple.
ever seen a commercial for
There's
Apple
an
Jacks.
apple and there's a cinnamon stick and they jump into cereal. I remember that. Let me check. Apple Jacks mascot. Yeah, it's an apple and a cinnamon stick.
I don't know. I did not realize that. Do we know more about them?
Well, I think the cinnamon stick is Jamaican.
Yeah, he's got some dreads.
And he skateboards. I think the apple, if I remember, is a grouchy apple because I don't think he's supposed to be like a sweet apple. I think he's supposed to be a bit more like crispy, but I don't remember. I couldn't tell you anything about them.
Cinnamon
Yeah, cinnamon!
is the cinnamon stick. And an accident-prone apple named Bad Apple.
There you go.
I'm going to go with the honeybee over that on this one. Now,
this came down to the mascot.
No. It also the Cheerios also are better for you in general.
Well, here's my other thought. I like to eat Honey Nut Cheerios without milk. I'll just have those as a snack as well.
That's a good call, too. You can just eat Honey Nut Cheerios
you could just eat them.
as is. Yes.
They're good both ways.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It's a more versatile cereal. This was actually tough for me. I could go either way here, to be honest with you. I think both of these, it just how the bracket laid out, I think Apple Jacks could have made it into the Elite Eight on another, if it got a different matchup. But I'm going to go with Honey Nut Cheerios as kind of a tiebreaker, an overtime tiebreaker there for that one. Rachel?
Yep, so we're putting in the Honey Nut Cheerios. Into,
you agree? Honey Nut
Cheerios?
Cheerios?
Yes, Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh, she was like, I don't know why you have such a big problem with this one. It's Honey Nut Cheerios.
I know. I like Apple Jacks too. I think it was a difficult one to do, but I think you kind of like talked about it enough. I think that's exactly it. Kind of comes down to those other pieces.
Mm-hmm. The second matchup in the region here: Lucky Charms versus Reese's Puffs. Rachel, you want to go first for this one?
Okay. Now, this is like the first one where they're really different than each other.
Yeah, they're very different. Completely different.
So, Lucky Charms, I could probably sing their little slogan. Right. We know it's our little leprechaun friend.
Sir Charms.
And all of that.
LC Leprechaun.
Reese's doesn't even need to have a mascot. It's like, no, it's Reese's.
It's you know what it is.
You know what it is. It's chocolate. It's peanut butter. There you go. For me on this one, I have to go with Reese's Puffs.
Okay.
And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before with the Reese's Puffs, where it's good combination of chocolate and peanut butter. It's like light. It's the balls of like the fluffy balls, and then it makes the milk like a nice chocolate flavor. It doesn't like taste gross at the end either. So I'm gonna go with Reese's. I don't have anything against Lucky Charms. They're fine. I like the marshmallows, but it's again to that the ratio of marshmallow to cereal.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have it. You have to have it, or it's not gonna work for me.
I will go against Lucky Charms here because
Ooh, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to say Lucky Charms.
I like the marshmallows of Lucky Charms. I think letting those sit in the milk gives the milk a good flavor. I think it softens up the marshmallows to the appropriate taste and texture.
That's true.
Lucky Charms cereal might as well be cat food. It's gross.
It does kind of look like cat food.
I think you can just buy the Lucky Charms marshmallows.
They do have that now. You
buy the marshmallows separately, put it in good cereal, and then eat that.
Wow. Shots fired.
Yeah. Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
I only want your charms. I don't want your bland cereal.
So to me, I like the marshmallows fine, but Reese's Puffs.
I am so surprised.
Moving on for me as well.
Holy cow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to point out really quickly, the wiki page for Lucky Charms tells that each one of Lucky's magical charms has a different power, according to Wikipedia here.
Okay.
So we all know about the hearts, stars, horseshoes, clovers, and blue moons, unicorns and rainbows, and me red balloons. All of them have different powers. The heart charm gives...
Pots of gold. It's pots of gold, not unicorns.
I think they've changed them to unicorns. Yeah, because you're
right.
right.
It used to be pots of gold.
Yeah, they don't have that anymore now. It's unicorns.
Oh, okay. I guess we got unicorns.
I don't like that.
Damn. He moved on up.
That's another shot against this thing.
Jeez.
So here's what they're supposed to be. Heart charm gives life to objects. The star is the power of flight. The horseshoe is the power of speed. The clover is the power of luck. Blue moon, power of invisibility. The rainbow is the power to teleport. The red balloon gives the power to float. And the unicorn brings color to the world. What is this for? Does he have a comic book line coming out or something?
That's what I was wondering. Is this like superheroes? Do we have is he looking for the proper people to give the powers to?
I would love an Avengers of these mascots because, I mean, I'm just going to say.
It's like the Avengers or Power Rangers and he's Zordon. It's like.
If you want to make a comic book with all of these mascots in it, send it over to Shelf Life. I will
see now that would be interesting.
Or just the aforementioned poster of like a movie poster, and it's just called Serial. And it's like the Avengers, like the silhouettes of all of them, but in like that Avengers style.
So wait,
or Justice League style.
In that idea, then, is Lucky giving the powers to different cereal mascots?
I feel like Lucky could also be the villain. Trying to
so he's like stealing.
He's trying to collect
stealing the powers.
Yeah.
And each mascot like has one or like has to find it and like become it type of deal.
Of all of the mascots, I could see him being the more Thanos like stinker villain of them because Captain Crunch he's a military man. Tony the Tiger is just kind of like a buff gym dude. So like he'd be more heroic than not. The honeybee, come on.
That's right. Yeah. Obviously. Honeybees are great. You know.
You got this. You just talked about the Applejacks ones. Those ones are clearly like your comic relief. Toucan Sam. How's Toucan Sam? Toucan Sam's not going to be a villain. The tricks.
Okay, now the Rice Krispies Snap, Crackle, and Pop could work for Lucky though.
Oh, I like this idea. Yeah,
they could be his like minions.
There you go, folks at home. You know what? Shelf Life gets credit if there's anyone out there that makes Food Fight 2 cereal. We get a little like inspired by credit on there.
That's right. Please.
Okay. let's move on to the next matchup, which is Waffle Crisp versus Frosted Mini Wheats. Eat your Wheaties, Rachel. Eat your Wheaties. For those that don't know, Frosted Mini Wheats has always been Wheaties in particular, and then Frosted Mini Wheats because they were like, these are gross. This is nothing. This tastes like cardboard. We need to put something on it. So they frosted them up. So now it's Eat Your Wheaties, but they're Frosted Mini Wheats. They look like little bales of hay with frosting on them.
That's actually a really good description. They do look like bales of hay.
And they've always been advertised as, like, Serena Williams will be on the cover of the Wheaties box because it's always like, if you eat your Wheaties, you can grow up to be big and strong. Michael Jordan or whoever will be on the Wheaties cover. This year, I'm sure, like...
sports people.
They still do that, right? Like
Gymnastics probably does it, too, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. They still do, like, the Wheaties covers with people, right? I assume so. And that makes them, like, collectible too, I think. Yeah, Simone Biles and Serena Williams have been on them.
I was right.
There's a fake one that you can apparently buy with George Costanza on the cover, which I kind of want.
That one.
So yeah, they're collectible Wheaties. We're talking about particularly frosted mini wheats, which are the better version just to have, versus the Waffle Crisp. I think this one comes down to Waffle Crisp just has that classic maple flavor for me.
I love that flavor.
It's just too good. Like, you let those soak in the milk.
It adds to it.
It adds to it. It makes it better. Compare that to the Frosted Mini Wheats, which are not actually that bad. Like,
they're not bad. They're fine.
They're fine. They do get soggy though if you leave.
They do. They're like, you expect it to be crunchier, but then it kind of like breaks apart into like wisps of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. You have this bale of hay that breaks apart your mouth versus a thick, crunchy waffle. Okay, that's what we're going against here.
It's a classic cereal, and that does elevate it somewhat because it just means so much in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to go with Waffle Crisp.
I'm going with Waffle Crisp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Waffle Crisp. That's an upset, I think.
It might be. It really might be.
It's an upset.
I'm a little scared for the next one.
People might be mad at us for that one.
Ooh.
The next matchup. Raisin Bran.
Well, wait. Who is Waffle Crisp going to be up against?
Waffle Crisp will be up against the winner of this matchup.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Never mind. I got confused because I already have a filled out bracket.
Oh, right, yeah. Waffle Crisp taking on the winner of this next matchup, Raisin Bran versus Frosted Flakes. Rachel, who you got?
Okay, so this is actually different than what I had come in with because I had chosen Blueberry originally. Mm-hmm. So now I have Raisin Bran versus Frosted Flakes. They have the flakes, right? They have the flakes. Raisin Bran's flakes are plain, and they have the raisins added to it. For Frosted Flakes, it's the flake with obviously the frosted sugar on top. And I feel like with the Frosted Flakes, it actually holds on to that frosting pretty well. Mm-hmm. Some other frosted cereals do not hold on to that frosted sugar as well as they do. And I like the sweetness. It's not too much, and it's not bland. It's got a good crunch. I have to go with Frosted Flakes.
They're great! We're shilling
they're
out.
They're more than great.
Look,
they're more than good.
Yeah. Any cereal companies out there that want to be advertisers of the show will take it because we're giving you all this free advertising.
Damn straight.
We deserve... You can pay us in cereal. I don't give a shit.
Oh, that'd be fun.
We'll
you
sell
just
out.
Get a bunch of cereal.
We have warned everyone that we'll sell out. I don't care. We'll sell out for
Shelf Life, sponsored by.
Yeah, it's Frosted Flakes.
We're also more than good.
Yeah, we are more than good. We are great.
We're really good for you. Good for the soul.
Yes, it's Frosted Flakes. It is
okay.
It's classic to me. I think it's so simple.
It is.
The frosting and the flakes just work so well together. It is one that you can eat any time of day.
Anytime. You can add it in, like you can add stuff into it. You can eat it the way it is any time of the day. So it's a classic cereal for me.
I think the Raisin Bran is similar to the Frosted Flakes in that they're both the flakes. The raisins, you get the raisin in it, you get the more fiber. It's obviously thicker, the healthier choice. You get that crunch, like you said. So I do think that the Raisin Bran is good, but for me, Frosted Flakes is just kind of like you just eat them. They're just
That's
good.
it.
Yeah, they're just good.
Mm-hmm.
So Frosted Flakes moves on. Frosted Flakes versus Waffle Crisp will happen in the Elite Eight. This is how a tournament works, Rachel. You build up to the harder and harder matchups.
I hate it, though. It kills me. Okay.
All right, we're going to move on to the fruity region. We're going to have to make some tough choices.
We've been talking way too long.
Cheerios versus Trix. This is going to be controversial, I think.
This one's going to be easy for me. Ooh.
Trix has a good flavor. It's got a multitude of flavor. It's probably all just artificial fruit. Compared to the Cheerios, the Cheerios flavor, to me, is a little plain, and it is for babies. I think of Cheerios not as a cereal, but as a food for infants to learn how to eat food.
To learn how to pick things up and eat them.
Yes. But I do think
Cheerios
that Trix
is too plain for me.
I think that Trix is better. I'm having Trix move on.
I prefer Honey Nut Cheerios. I prefer anything over
Frosted
plain
Cheerios. Yeah, any of the Cheerios.
So I have to go with Trix because I don't like the plain Cheerios. Like you said, it's for babies. It's like no offense, babies, but like
no offense to our baby listeners out there.
But it's for you. It's for you to get to pick up with your fingers.
It's to learn how to
snack
eat
on things.
Breakfast. Yeah. If it falls on the ground, the dog can eat it, and it won't hurt the dog. It's a Cheerio.
It's also true. I mean, don't feed them Cheerios, but yeah.
So a big upset
Trix moves
there.
on.
That's a big upset because Cheerios is obviously one of the most popular cereals ever. We have Trix beating it.
We have Trix beating it.
People are looking at their brackets, going, "Unbelievable! Their brackets have been busted because Trix beat Cheerios." This next matchup is this is going to be a classic matchup. I actually think that it's a pretty clear who's going to win. But I think that this needed to happen.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to let you go first.
I don't know.
I'm going to let you go first then.
No. Well, okay. I guess I have to anyways, don't I?
You don't have to.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, you go first because you were talking about this. You got all excited to say this.
Versus Fruit Loops. Fruity Pebbles versus Fruit Loops. The battle of the fruit. It's Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble versus Toucan Sam.
That's right.
I think that Toucan Sam has the advantage for flight, but obviously the Flintstones have the advantage of being sentient human beings.
I mean,
so the difference here,
but yeah.
Fruity Pebbles. The issue with Fruity Pebbles comes back to the fact that it gets extremely soggy extremely quickly. I find Fruit Loops to be one of those cereals, like you said, you can I think this isn't, you can eat it just out of the box. I think that's what the advantage that I think Fruit Loops has here.
Interesting.
I think that it has a very good taste. I think it works very well with the milk. It's not on the bracket. I was going to have us maybe after the break talk about cereals that didn't get on that we actually also like because they're variants, but you put the Lucky Charms marshmallows in a bowl of Fruit Loops, you'll have a good damn time eating your cereal.
That actually makes sense, yeah.
Because there's a Fruit Loops with marshmallows out there that is pretty damn good. Fruit Loops, for me, is a great, flavorful, fruity taste that it's better than Fruity Pebbles. Just straight up better. So Fruit Loops is moving on.
Okay, so I had chosen Fruity Pebbles.
Interesting.
I thought the spoonful of Fruity Pebbles versus Fruit Loops was fruitier, and you get a lot more with it because of the flakes.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you kind of talked about the fact that you could eat Fruit Loops just out of the box, it's kind of similar to how you do the Honey Nut Cheerios. I do agree with that. I just kind of thought that Fruit Loops didn't have as much flavor as Fruity Pebbles, but maybe that's just because the flavor has to be so strong in Fruity Pebbles because you have to just devour it instantly. Otherwise it just goes away. And maybe that is the negative to Fruity Pebbles. So I feel like I have to go against myself again and say Fruit Loops because of your good points.
Okay, I don't want you to feel like you have to agree with me.
No. I do agree though because the milk, the fastness, the fact that it just kind of it's a nice consistent crunchy round
I'll say this about Fruity Pebbles. You put that in a cereal bar form.
Ooh, the cereal bars are good.
Yeah, they're great. As a bowl of cereal, Fruit Loops takes it for me. Yeah. So we're letting Fruit Loops move on?
We're going to let Fruit Loops move on, yes.
Okay, let's do Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops advances to the Elite Eight. Now, this one's tough for me, so I'm glad that you have to do it first. Honeycombs versus Honey Bunches of Oats. Honey Bunches of Oats as the seed here. It's Honey Bunches of Oats. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Rachel, who you got?
Okay, so for this, I felt like I have some strong points for this one.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second.
Oh God, I need to get out my dissertation.
So we have honeycombs, right? Which is kind of just like a thick comb-shaped piece, I guess is what you would call it. But then with Honey Bunches of Oats, again, we go back to the flakes. So it has the flakes, right? But it also has granola. It's got crunchy stuff. And I have to give it to Honey Bunches of Oats because it has a sweetness. It's got crunchy stuff. It's a little bit more than just a flake. It's more than just a piece of like thick, I don't know, cereal bite. I feel like it's got a lot of flavor to it. So for me, Honey Bunches of Oats moves on.
Okay. I was on the fence about this one because neither of them I eat a lot of. I like the points that you make about Honey Bunches of Oats. For me, I would have maybe said honeycombs because it's sweeter, but you make a lot of good points about the Honey Bunches of Oats. I'm looking at bowls of them right now. I agree with you, the Honey Bunches of Oats. I think that one can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Honey Bunches of Oats moves on. And the final...
We can discuss what's currently on our shelves for cereal at the end.
Sure.
Because you mentioned that, I felt like we can say that.
Yeah.
It won't just be the final. We'll talk about the other ones that we actually might have on our shelves. Now, besides the tiny ones that I have on my desk right now.
Right, yes, because Rachel has them all on her desk because she was sampling them. The final battle in the round of 16, Captain Crunch versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's the battle of the crunches here. I like both of these cereals. Cinnamon Toast Crunch for me is going to move on. It's a good shape. It is
a good shape.
It's filling. It works with the milk perfectly. You let it sit in the milk becomes cinnamony. It has a good rich flavor to it. I think this is one you actually can take out of the box as well and eat. Captain Crunch you kind of can too, actually. But the Captain Crunch, like we're not talking crunch berries or anything like that. I think that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is just, it might be the perfect cereal. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Well, we know what Kevin's bracket looks like.
I don't know. You don't know. I wasn't gonna say that, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch I have moving on.
For me, I really enjoy cinnamon. That's going to be very different for different people. Some people absolutely despise cinnamon, so that's going to be very different for some people. I love cinnamon. And versus Captain Crunch, which sometimes gives you this weird film at the top of your mouth.
Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point. I have not even thought of that. Yeah.
So it can be tasty, but it does leave that weird film at the top of your mouth. I have to also say Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Hands down for this one, easy, because it's got the cinnamon, it's crunchy, it just tastes good, it's
Every
flavorful.
Piece of Cinnamon Toast Crunch has like the different designs in them and
stuff.
Yeah,
the swirls.
Like it looks appealing. The taste you can see, Rachel.
That's right. That's because you can see the cinnamon. Because cinnamon actually has a color to it.
We are on to the Elite Eight. Let me just go down the list of the Elite Eight real quick, and then we will take a short break from a word from our fake sponsor, and then we will finish the tournament. We will have Honey Nut Cheerios versus Reese's Puffs, Waffle Crisp versus Frosted Flakes, Trix versus Fruit Loops, and Honey Bunches of Oats versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch. When Shelf Life continues.
Now, it's here. The excitement, the adventure of a new force at breakfast.
We'll call them C-3POs.
New C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's. Twin rings phased together. For 2 crunches in every 00. A delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. Now you can experience the taste of Kellogg's C-3POs. A crunchy new force at breakfast.
May the force be with you.
Bringing kids our Power Pack new cereal.
But Shredder wants it.
We must take that power. Yeah, let me have it.
Let's give it to him.
Oh, no, the Ninja Nest.
Chow down, dudes. It's Crunchy Ninja Nest with Ninja Marshmallows. A Power Pack Crunch, part of your balanced breakfast.
Tastes great.
Now we crunch you.
Turtle power.
Oh, Laura, my pet, I created something that'll make you love me. I got a great new cereal. Did I do that? So hang up your pants for the Urkelos round.
We're Urkelos with Urkelos.
Strawberry, banana, fruit flavor so fine. Just one little bite and I know she'll be mine.
She'll be Urkelos with Urkelos.
Oh, Laura, when I find you, you'll taste Cherulo. The Urkelos part of this complete breakfast.
Welcome back to the Shelf Life Munch Madness Tournament. And now your hosts, me. Oh,
And me.
That was awkward. We're back
We're back.
with the Elite Eight of the breakfast cereal edition of the Munch Madness Tournament, the first annual Munch Madness Tournament. We have been going through... Rachel, I'm sweating here, and we're recording this before the tournament, obviously, so it's not like it's hot outside, but I am like... It's getting intense going through these breakfast cereals.
It's difficult. I don't even know why. It's such a simple thing. Why is it so difficult to choose?
Now, before we move on, I did want to point out some different brands of cereal or different types of cereal that we didn't put in the bracket because either it wasn't like the classic version, or we couldn't find it, or we've never heard of it. Folks at home, I want you to tell us if there are any cereals that are your favorites that weren't in the tournament.
To. Tell us all about them, especially if you're from like different countries and you have different types of cereals
there's got to be different
I would love to
things.
hear about that, especially if there's like a way I could try it. I would totally try it.
So there's a ton of cereals that were specific to their time. There's always like different limited time cereals, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cereal, which was really bad because the marshmallows were terrible in that cereal. Urkelos, you had everything in the everything in the 80s had a cereal for sure. C-3PO had his own cereal at one point. None of those, obviously. Captain Planet had its own cereal.
Oh my god, I wish Captain Planet still had a cereal.
I will give honorable mentions to some different variations on the cereals that we've talked about that I actually think could be better than the cereal that we put on the list, or at the very least are just a very good version. Captain Crunch Crunch Berries.
Yeah, I feel like that's better.
I like the Crunch Berries. I actually get the Crunch Berry bars, like as a bar. Very, very good. To have
so cereal bars are very good.
Mm-hmm.
I will give them that.
Cheerios, we kind of talked about. There's a million different varieties of Cheerios now. There's pumpkin spice, there's strawberry,
they have the different
there's
flavors, the
yogurt,
fruity ones.
frosted,
the banana
cinnamon
one.
nut, banana burst, berry burst, banana nut. Yeah, there's a shitload of different Cheerios.
But they have to have the flavor. That's the best way to eat a Cheerio. Any of the flavors.
Yeah, I agree. It does not the regular Cheerios, but
not the regular Cheerios,
one of
but the flavorful
variations. Yes. Mm-hmm. Cinnamon Toast Crunch has French Toast Crunch, which I do not think. I think that's an inferior version of it, and I think that one gets soggy quickly.
Interesting.
Actually,
it's
there's
not the
one
same coating.
Right, they don't have the non-nutritive cereal orange. There is the French, not French Toast Crunch. There's Dolce Leche. Have you seen this, Rachel? Dolce Leche Toast Crunch? It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but with caramel and cinnamon.
That's weird.
It was delicious.
Weird.
It was really good. So that one's definitely there. Peanut Butter Cookie Crisp. Never had. Apparently only lasted 3 years, but I saw it on the list and I thought, that sounds interesting. E.T. cereal. Stay tuned.
E.T. cereal?
Of Frosted Flakes that I actually enjoy quite a bit, Cinnamon Frosted Flakes. That one's really good. That one's really good. There's also Honey Nut Frosted Flakes, which I've not had.
I haven't had the regular. I only eat the frosted.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be like. I kind of wonder if that would clash too much.
I don't know. We'd have to try it.
There's Krusty-O's, which of course come with a sharp metal object
Of course, yeah.
that might force you to get your appendix taken out if you swallow it instead of using it for its intended purpose. So be careful out there, folks. And then Cocoa Pebbles, which we talked about, which are very different than Fruity Pebbles, but...
Right. I just don't like that chocolate.
I just don't like that chocolate. Can't do it.
All right. Do you have Golden Crisp or Honey Smacks on that list?
Okay. I forgot about these.
Because I was going to tell you that maybe these needed to be on our thing, but, it's okay. It's all right. We can discuss it.
Okay, we can discuss it, and I think that they're gross because they're just half... It's... All right, thanks for putting... I can eat nuts if I want to. I'm not going to put them in milk. It's just half a nut.
See, I haven't had these in a long time. I used to like them. I used to like these. I thought they actually had a flavor, and they were like a weird shape, so it wasn't like just something plain being eaten. I don't know if I would still like it, but I used to love these.
2 or 3 bites of them I think are good. If you have a whole bowl of them, in my opinion, like the way I eat it, I get sick of it really quick. The first couple bites are like, oh, this is really good. And then the next couple bites, it's like, there's diminishing returns on this Honey Smacks. What was the other one you said? Honey Smacks and...
Golden Crisp. They're like the same thing.
Is that the one with
very,
like
very
the...
similar.
What's the mascot for that one? He's got like a backwards hat on, right?
There's a bear for Golden Crisp, and there's a frog for Honey Smacks.
Okay, yes.
And the frog is the one that wears the sideways cap because he's cool.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, they're kind of similar. Neither one of them are going to make it into the Elite Eight.
They're pretty much the same.
Yeah,
if you look at them, they look identical.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just a nut. It's just, thank you for breaking open this pecan so that you could throw it into my milk.
This soft pecan.
Anything else, Rachel, that you want to give an honorable mention to or discuss before we get to the Elite Eight?
Those,
I would have
Oreo tried to do the same thing as Reese's Puffs. It's not the same.
No.
Oh, I did have a Wendy's Frosty cereal recently.
Yes. Please let us know about this one.
Because I'm like, I couldn't help myself. Look, I love a Wendy's Frosty. It's fantastic.
Was the cereal good?
The cereal was pretty good. It was kind of just Cocoa Puffs with little marshmallows, like mini marshmallows. So it kind of reminded me of a hot chocolate, like the flavor of hot chocolate, because it's a richer chocolatey flavor, since it is like a German chocolate flavor for the Frosties. So it's a thicker, like richer chocolatey flavor in the cereal. And they had the little marshmallows with it. I thought it was just for fun. It was fine. Would I get it again? It was expensive, so no.
Yeah.
It's
meant to be like a collector's item.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but so it was kind of just fun to get for something different.
Yeah, if there are any lifers out there that do collect these like limited edition things, let us know like what a good one, like a good collector. One
Tell
would
us
be
about
to
the
get.
boxes you got.
Yeah, I want to know. Okay. We have 8 cereals remaining in the tournament. Pressure is on here for us. We're going to start with it's the regional final of the rounds region. Honey Nut Cheerios, Reese's Puffs. Rachel, what do you got? It's tough. I spent hours last night trying to figure out who win. I had this here, and I was like, I don't know who moves on. I don't know how to pick.
I don't really know how to pick either. I keep going back and forth. So, I like the... oh my god, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Because I don't even know if I agree with what I have down. Because I do have... I chose Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay.
In my written bracket. Okay. And I think it's because you can eat them any which way you want to. Very consistent, nice coating, works well in the milk, sweet but not too sweet. And I don't always want chocolate. So if it was like something that I'm going to eat multiple times in a week, I'd have to go with Honey Nut Cheerios. And I really like Reese's Puffs though, because I like that chocolate and peanut butter together. I like the way it makes the milk taste. So it's a difficult one, but that is why I went with Honey Nut Cheerios.
See, now that's interesting. I had Reese's Puffs I eventually went with Reese's Puffs.
No, okay.
I think that the peanut butter chocolate flavor in the milk is richer than the Honey Nut Cheerios. However, you may have swayed me with the idea that if I'm eating this like each morning during the week,
right?
Does Honey Nut Cheerios have better shelf life than Reese's Puffs? This is really... we should have started with a different one. This is really tough.
I hate it. Why did you start with this one?
Oh, boy. I'm going to preface it this way. I personally... If it's... I'm really thinking about this now. If I have both of them on the shelf in the pantry...
Who are you reaching for?
Who am I reaching for? What am I like, yep, I'm going to eat that. And I think it would be Reese's Puffs. I might have to flip a coin for this one.
Folks at home, let us know what you think. Is it Honey Nut Cheerios or Reese's Puffs?
Okay, hang on. I have to discern Honey Nut Cheerios and Reese's Puffs. Okay, here I go. I'm going to flip a coin. Honey Nut Cheerios takes it. And since you had picked that one, I think that that's fair to have it move on. So Honey Nut Cheerios moves on.
I think it's fine.
That is such a tough one, though.
It's a hard one.
That's really hard. I see your point about the chocolate.
About eating it multiple times.
Yes.
Like in 1 week.
But Reese's Puffs is great.
Oh, no, it's fantastic.
All the artificial flavors and food coloring was removed in 2015. So you're eating a decent fake real meal there. So Honey Nut Cheerios moves on to the final 4. But Reese's Puffs definitely. If the mood changes, we could come back while we're editing this and be like, we were wrong. It should have been Reese's Puffs. We'll have to see. Anyway, Rachel, the next one I will take first. Waffle Crisp versus Frosted Flakes. We've talked about all the positives for both of these cereals. There's a lot of good things to say about both of these cereals. But in the similar fashion, like we just decided the Honey Nut Cheerios and the Reese's Puffs, I can eat Frosted Flakes every day. I think Waffle Crisp, and it probably because of our nostalgia for it, is like, this is special, I'm eating Waffle Crisp.
It's special, yes.
But Frosted Flakes, it just has that classic cereal taste. It is what I think of when someone says, do you want cereal?
Yes.
Frosted Flakes moves on.
Okay, I also have Frosted Flakes, and I'm also thinking of it in the same fashion as I did with the Honey Nut Cheerios. I could eat this every day. I can eat it different ways. I could put some blueberries in it. I could put bananas in it. You know, I could
put it on top of a potato and
I don't know
make a
about
casserole.
You don't want Frosted Flakes for that. You just want plain ones.
Oh, I've used Frosted Flakes.
That's weird.
Well, I'm not a very good cook.
But yeah, so I also have to say Frosted Flakes. I really want to eat some Waffle Crisp because of this tournament. But
I wonder if you can buy it.
To me, that's very special, and I feel like Frosted Flakes is a everyday cereal.
Yes. So congratulations again. Both cereals are great. Congratulations to Frosted Flakes. You are moving. You can cut down the net at the rim. What would that be? What would the equivalent be? I guess it would be like taking off that little top on the milk carton.
Rip off the box top?
Yeah.
Box
There
top
you
rim?
go. You can rip off the box top. You're moving on to the final 4. The Cinderella of the tournament so far, Trix. Against Fruit
Underdog.
Loops. It's
the under rabbit.
The under rabbit. Trix Rabbit versus...
Poor rabbit getting his ass handed to him by these kids every freaking commercial. It's just rude.
Who you got here, Rachel? Trix or Fruit Loops?
Fruit Loops.
Yep.
I gotta go Fruit
any
Loops.
Reason? Or just...
Flavor. Trix tastes a little bit more fake. They're both
Yes.
fake. But...
They're all fake.
They're all fake. But Trix taste a little bit more fake and stronger than Fruit Loops, and I think I prefer the Fruit Loops taste. Yeah.
Okay. Comes back to, for me, I think Trix sits well in the milk, but I think Fruit Loops is better in the milk. I think it is a more consistent... I already mentioned Fruit Loops with the marshmallows, I think is great. But the Fruit Loops, just in general, I think you can eat pretty well. It's got a good shape, good consistency, good taste. Fruit Loops is moving on to the final 4. But a great run from Trix. I did not
Yes,
expect
good
that.
job, Trix, getting so far in.
And
This
finally,
next one I hate, by the way. I don't like this one. This one I had a difficulty with as well.
okay, I'll go first for this one. It
Thank
is
you.
Honey Bunches of Oats versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Both of these have good flavors. Both of these have a very rich flavor. Both of these are, you wake up in the morning, you get a bowl of this, you sit down, you watch cartoons, even if you're a mid-30s man, and you are ready
sounds
for
about
the
right.
day. Shelf life for me on this one goes to Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think it's Rachel rolled her eyes. I think this is a...
Well, I already knew that.
I think it's more consistent. I think it works well in the milk. I enjoy being able to finish the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and drink the milk with the
drinking
cinnamon
of the milk, yeah.
taste afterward. I think that's key, and it's clutch at the end of the day to have Cinnamon Toast Crunch for me to move on to the Final Four. But Rachel, what do you've got?
Okay, so I flip-flopped on this one.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to tell you which way I flip-flopped. I do like both of these a lot. We've talked about the Honey Bunches of Oat. I actually swayed you on that one to bring it into the next round, right?
I kind of want some now.
But that's because it has, like, it's a hearty breakfast. Like, it actually
It's
has,
very
like,
hearty.
a lot to it.
Yeah.
The cinnamon on Cinnamon Toast Crunch kind of is pulling me, though, because I really like the cinnamon. I really like that flavor. And you have a good point where the milk afterwards isn't just milk. It actually has that cinnamony taste to it. So I actually had flip-flopped from Honey Bunches of Oats to Cinnamon Toast Crunch moving on.
Interesting.
So I think I'll have to just stick with it and say Cinnamon Toast Crunch moves on to the next round.
Okay.
I'll just stick
so
with it.
It's official, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Congratulations. Move on to the next round. But Honey Bunches of Oats, don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on Honey
God,
Bunches of
no.
Oats.
Enjoy it.
So our Final Four. I don't know if people will think this is too basic or not, but it's our Final Four. It's what we've come up with. I mean,
But this is the shelf life of cereal. This is what, like, if you're eating cereal every day,
yeah.
these are the ones.
And, you know, even if it is what everybody likes, it's what everybody likes for a reason. These are damn
Exactly.
good. So the Final Four we have Honey Nut Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't think that there's a loser in this bunch. I think that they're all very good cereals. But
Even
there
in
can
the
only...
top 8, there really wasn't a loser.
No, not really. The top 10 probably. Well,
Right.
Like Life was the first one where I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Final Four. There can only be one champion. They're all champions, but there can only be one champion.
Okay. Which side are we going to first? Oh, let's do Fruity Crunchy.
Okay, Fruity Crunchy first. Fruit Loops, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Rachel, who you got?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I immediately go Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm not as huge on the fruity cereal. I like sweetness.
Okay.
So I have to go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch because I really like cinnamon and the sweetness and the crunch and all of that put together.
I will keep it short and sweet. I agree with you. I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch takes this over Fruit Loops, but again, great cereal. But Cinnamon Toast Crunch is just, it's too good. Moves on to the finals. The other semifinal, who will meet Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the final? Honey Nut Cheerios or Frosted Flakes?
Kevin?
Frosted Flakes.
Yes. I concur. Frosted Flakes beats Honey Nut Cheerios, hands down.
Yeah. I like Honey Nut Cheerios just fine, of course. We wouldn't have made it this far if we didn't. But Frosted Flakes they're great. God, yeah, I did that on purpose. I'm sorry.
I know you did.
I'm a fucking shill. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, Frosted Flakes, they're more than good. They're great. Honey Nut Cheerios is just good.
So now we have come down to it.
I
For
think
the
we're going to be
championship.
head-to-head on this one, Kevin.
Huh?
I think we might be at each other on this one. This might be a sibling rivalry here.
The championship. For all the championship of the Shelf Life Breakfast Cereal Champion. Frosted Flakes versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Should we just say who we have on 3?
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Cinnamon
Frosted
Toast Crunch.
Flakes.
Yeah, I kind of knew this was
I
going
knew
to
that
happen.
was going to happen. I don't think you can sway me because I love Frosted Flakes. And I know you love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There's no way.
I love Frosted Flakes though too.
This is the sibling rivalry right here. There's no way we're gonna butt heads on this. Because I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but Frosted Flakes beats it to me.
So there's one of two things we can do about this, Rachel. One, actually, there's three things. We can try to convince the other person. We can flip a coin for it. Or we can sit on this, see if we get feedback from any of the listeners.
We have it down to the final two, and I want our listeners to help us come up with a victor.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, maybe that's what we do instead, because I actually don't want us to have to wait to declare a winner. So I think we'll take it to the streets.
But then we keep going.
Should we debate on this? What's your argument for Frosted Flakes over Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Okay, so my argument of having Frosted Flakes over Cinnamon Toast Crunch, we have they're both sweet, right? We have the sweetness factor. We have a different crunch, though. The Frosted Flake versus the square, I feel like the Frosted Flake holds up better. I feel like it's got a nice crunchy consistency to it, and I feel like that's a better holder for the flavor. As well as if I'm eating this every day, I'm going to go with Frosted Flakes because I can eat it different ways. It doesn't kind of get too much. I don't always want to have a cinnamon flavor in the morning, so I would go with Frosted Flakes.
So I think that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is more flavorful. Like that's kind of my only argument. I like both of these cereals. I think that Cinnamon Toast Crunch has more of that, just a richer flavor compared to Frosted Flakes, which is good, but it can get a little plain in some bowls compared to the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which I think is usually pretty consistently flavorful from the top of the box to the bottom of the box. If you had both of them sitting in the cereal, I think they both turn out just fine, but I think that the Cinnamon Toast Crunch has a longer lifespan on it. And actually, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, even a little bit soggy, is kind of good. Frosted Flakes is too, though. Like, I won't lie. It absorbs the milk pretty well.
It does absorb it pretty well. But I do agree that the cinnamon is very consistent with its flavor, and I do think that the cinnamon flavor is fantastic. I love cinnamon, so it's hard for me to immediately just go no cinnamon to this one. These two up against each other is difficult because I really do like them both. So I do agree about the flavor of the cinnamon. For me, if it's going to be like an everyday cereal, it would be Frosted Flakes. And it sounds like we're coming to a conclusion.
I might be willing to concede that. I think I'm fine with either one of these winning. So I will allow it. Frosted Flakes by a hair in a very, very close race here.
By a
for the
flake,
champion
if you will.
Is the Shelf Life Breakfast Cereal
Woo!
Champion in our first annual Munch Madness. So congratulations there. I will say I have both of these cereals in the pantry ready to go, along with Honey Nut Cheerios. So they're there.
But just for good measure, we record the other outcome. I would be willing to concede that Cinnamon Toast Crunch could win because of that great flavor that it does have. I think that would be okay. I would be fine with that. It could be a good cereal to have because you're not eating cereal every day anyways, so I think it would be fine. Sorry I had to say that.
Okay, if you're willing, that means that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the champion of the first annual Munch Madness Tournament, the breakfast cereal winner, but both are great cereal to have on your shelf.
Oh, yeah. And then it ends up like this.
Rachel, are you going to go eat all of the rest of
I'm going to have to, yeah. I mean, now I have all these little cereals. I'm going to have to eat all the cereals. Now, I do have as many as I could get for what was on the bracket. What's on my shelf right now, my 3 cereals on my shelf right now are Frosted Flakes, Honey Bunches of Oats, and Fruit Loops. Those are the 3 cereals on my shelf right now.
So 3 of the final 4.
Yes.
Yeah. not Honey Bunches of Oats. That one was in the Elite Eight.
That was in the other one, but yeah, still.
Interesting stuff. Well, that is the conclusion. I hope that everybody had fun, enjoyed this bonus.
Just a bit of a silly one to go with right now.
Yeah, a different type of show, something that we were just like, oh, this could be something different to do every year with the food in mind, with the name Shelf Life. And we have different ideas for different things that we could do over the years. But if you have different ideas as well, definitely let us know. If we're lucky enough to be doing this, and we expect to be doing this for 50 years, we'll probably run out of foods at some point. But we have different ideas as well. So thank you for listening. We do appreciate that. I do not like to do the typical podcaster creator kind of crap where you beg for people to do all sorts of stuff. But I will say this, just in case you aren't already, or you came to us and this was your first episode, which is completely different than what our usual show is. They are all long, but we also have shortcuts for certain things if you want to get it in shorter chunks. Or you can just listen to us as you can, or if you're a long haul commuter or you listen at work and stuff like that, they're very good. But a couple of notes to have here. Volume 2 of Shelf Life is on the horizon. It will be coming to you shortly, for sure, if you're listening to this now. And we have some big ones. We have some good ones in that volume. So look forward to that. We also have our website where you can see this bracket. You can see the lineup for Volume 2 on that website. And as well as last fall's fantasy draft that we did with Volume 1. And the Volume 1 episodes are on there too. We're available wherever podcasts are listened to. You found us, so obviously you were able to find us there. So get ready because we have a bunch of Shelf Life episodes coming out. The website will also have some fun stuff on it as well that you can read or see.
So you can go there and you can give us a rundown of what your bracket would look like, what your draft would look like for last year's draft. Let us know. I would love to see your guys' choices.
Oh, and then, of course, make sure to subscribe or tell people about the podcast. I don't like usually saying that.
Do you want me to do it?
It makes me feel like I'm begging.
I'll do it.
Well, go ahead.
Make sure to give us a 5-star review, a share us. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And stay tuned.
Click that like button.
Stay tuned for some great episodes in the future.
Yeah, we obviously we do this for fun. We're doing this as a hobby. We're trying to expand it just because, it takes a lot of time, so we're trying to do it as much as we can for as many people as we can, and we want to, make a good community of people listening to the show. So that is the first annual Munch Madness Tournament bracket. The champion
is on the shelf.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Both of them are on the shelf.
That's right.
I am Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this has been Shelf Life.
Munch Madness.